start recording.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chaz Evans, and you are listening to this edition of the Three Count. Yeah. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chaz Evans, and you are now listening to the Three Count. Let's go down the roster. Introducing first, so we're weighing in at a 215 pounds from Scottsbluff, Nebraska. He is Cliff Red Dog Miller.
Oh yeah! New catchphrase! Yeah, that's it.
And missing in action. He was here earlier, but hey, sometimes you gotta get your car fixed. He is your 44-time intercontinental black man. You know who he is. You better hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your sister too, because he's coming for all them next. He booked himself to go over, and he also booked himself not to be on the show this episode. He is the world's heavyweight National Wrestling Alliance champion, Chris Idol.
Always happy to be
here. And introducing next, weighing in at 157 pounds.
That's not my weight.
He hails from Randallstown, Maryland. He is known as the Napster. Don't call him little, because he's legal now. My brother, JJ.
I'd like to thank the sidewalks for keeping me off the street. Terrible times, Idol. Good luck with your car and the Rona. It's sad out here, and wash your hands, dirty bastards.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Three Count special edition. I guess you call it special. Let's get down to some some announcements. So, if you have not listened to the latest episode of Now Entering the Ring, featuring the Postman, Bam Williams, then you need to stop, pause, go back to our episode list, and listen to that first, and then come back and listen to this episode. Bam was on the show last week, and, well, it was just... You got to listen to it. That's all I can say. I can't put over Vam any more than just say, go listen to that episode. Also, some more announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the Three Count podcast, then we got some good news for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Three Count podcast now has merch. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go get the latest gear featuring the Three Count podcast, go to Pro Wrestling Tees and / the Three Count Pod. That's ProWrestlingTees.com/3COUNTPOD and pick yourself up a Three Count podcast shirt. If you do, definitely tag us in it on our social media so we can repost it. We want to thank everybody for your support. Let's go down to the NXT AEW what do we call this segment? I guess the head-to-head competition? I don't know. We got to figure out a name.
The
Ratings War.
Ratings War. There it is. Ratings War. All right, guys. So AEW came in this week with a whopping 701,000 viewers, while NXT barely made 600. And they came in at a 592,000 viewers for the week. So if you're keeping count, because we are, AEW's winning streak right now is at 4, but overall it's a 27 versus 5 being 8. So that being said, AEW takes the W again. And moving on to some more sadder news. This week in wrestling was a very tragic week for the wrestling world. We lost 2 wrestlers this week. Shad Gaspard, known as the one member of Crime Time, passed away this week. And just recently, I think as of last night of this recording, this is being recorded on Saturday, the 23rd, Hana Kimura from Out of Stardom had passed away as well. So right here on the 3 Count Podcast, we want to send our thoughts and our prayers to both families. And we're going to also have a moment of silence for these two wrestlers. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's get down to business.
Yeah, so let's get into this first topic, right? So as you mentioned, Hana Kimura from Stardom passed away, and it wasn't tragic circumstances like Shad Gaspard, which our hearts are just like Chad said, our hearts are with Shad Gaspard. Passed away after being pulled under by a riptide, saved his 10-year-old son. And we just understand like the kind of person that Shad was just in general, just like a great overall individual. Hana Kimura, on the other hand, though, came from a weird situation, right? So apparently, from what I understand, right, there was a Netflix documentary, like TV show that she had, and something about her uniform got washed incorrectly and it shrunk, and then producers made her seem like she was much worse of a person than what she was. Now, from people like Kairi Sane, from people like there's a bunch of other wrestlers out of Japan, Io Shirai being one of them as well. They talked about how much of a great person Hana Kimura was. But when this episode on Netflix debuted, a lot of people started bullying Hana Kimura to the point where Hana actually committed suicide, right? So our topic today is like cyberbullying, right? It's not really much of a topic because we're all going to agree on this, right? Just to what extent it's going to be. And just kind of give your thoughts about what you think about the whole thing that happened, So I guess I kind of want to go first because I legitimately like have a huge fucking problem with this. And it's going to start with, if you really think that you have to go out of your way to bully somebody that you don't know, you don't have any connection to, aside from the fact that you saw them on fucking TV maybe a handful of times, and you think it's right for you to go on your fucking favorite social media platform, whatever it is, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pornhub, I don't give a fuck, and disrespect that person so much to the point that they fucking take their lives just to make yourself feel good, you're the fucking lowest scum of the goddamn earth. You really are. I'm a product of being bullied in high school and in college and fucking elementary school. For God's sakes, for some of you guys who may just try to figure it out, my real name is fucking Clifford, okay? Yeah, there's no getting around that. Like, the big red dog is the thing I got stuck with my whole life and got made fun of. And for all you fucking people out there who think that it's so cool to go out there and be like, yeah, check out what I said to this person. You're a piece of scum. This is what you get, blah, 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 blah. You're some fucking trash. And I just mean that in general for people, right? It doesn't matter if it's in the wrestling community, fucking movie community. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Anybody who thinks that cyberbullying is like the way to go, you are the fucking problem with this fucking earth. You're the type of person that I wish that coronavirus would have got a hold of and taken out. Because you think that you're so cool and edgy by saying the fucking things that's on your mind. Twitter has given us this platform that we can say whatever we want with no repercussions to our actions. But what we don't realize is those repercussions do come. It's just the butterfly effect. Sure, maybe you fucking did the wing, you or that butterfly, you flapped your wings, and then you caused a fucking hurricane or some shit that happened in fucking Japan. Because to be 22 years old and to think people hate me so much that they would rather see me dead than alive is beyond me. Okay? And it doesn't matter whatever age you were. If you're over the age of 22 and you decided to tweet this young lady to the point where you thought your hatred was going to be like just whatever, and she ended up committing, you are part of the fucking problem. We were all that age at one time. Fucking JJ right here, he's 18. He will hit that age. To think that you need to put your opinion out there so much that this girl ends up taking her life, you should be held accountable for that shit as well. I just find it to be so disrespectful that someone like her, a beautiful spirit like her, just thinks that that's it. And it's not even like just that, right? Because the wrestling community, we are a toxic community, right? If we don't like something, we will blast everybody in a way. And thank God Vince McMahon doesn't read his own fucking Twitter. Like, for real. Because fucking Vince would have probably been dead probably 30 fucking years ago if that shit would have been the case. Looking at somebody like, it's just think about it, right? Because like in the Star Wars community, the Star Wars fans literally bullied somebody so bad that she quit Twitter. She quit social media because she couldn't take it because of the mental stress that was putting her under, right? And Tran was amazing in that movie. I don't care what you guys fucking say. I don't care if you don't like The Last Jedi. I don't give a fuck, okay? It's just the fact that you think that you're so edgy and so cool to like go out there and just like disrespect somebody like that. Sure, you have an opinion, right? And you can voice that opinion. Go right the fuck ahead. But then there's those scumbag people out there who, like earlier today, I just saw it on fucking Twitter. Sean Ross Sapp, sorry, Sean, went out there and put it out there. This guy had an account, right? It said 2020, right, or my plans, and it was Hana Kimura. And then the next thing, it was her reading all the negativity coming out, and it said what had really happened. Like, we know what the fuck happened to her, okay? And for you to be I gotta be the first one to put this joke out there is so cool. And you justified it by saying, I was being bullied too because I didn't have any muscles, so I quit wrestling. So you thought that your instance, the one thing that you needed to do was go out of your fucking way and put up a meme about it, about her, about someone who just passed away less than 12 hours ago. That's fucking low. And that's the type of people that we have to deal with all the fucking time. You think you're cool, but you're not. You need to fucking knock it off, okay? Be respectful to those people, okay? They work hard for you. You can hate that person. That's so what? People don't like Joey Ryan because he does a dick flip. But to go out there and bully that man would be fucking ridiculous. You don't fucking like someone, like some people out there don't like John Cena, and they go out there and they say blasphemy shit to him. And it's a good thing that he really just doesn't care about looking at Twitter. But you have got to be fucking kidding me, man. Like, to know that someone ended their life because of things that people were saying is just crazy, man. We used to live in this world where sticks and stones, right? We used to say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But the problem is that we have those words, man, and we utilize all this crazy shit, and we say all this crazy shit to someone to the point where they break mentally, and they think the only way they escape is through death. That's insane to me. Okay, I've traveled down those roads. I've been where you guys have been, but Jesus, man, to think that that's cool. It is not. It will never be cool. So grow the fuck up. Understand that this is a person, and the character they're playing on TV is not who they are. All of you out there think about how cool Chris Jericho was, but years ago you couldn't fucking stand him. You couldn't stand people like fucking Hulk Hogan when he turned Hollywood Hogan. So you threw out all this hate. Thank God Twitter wasn't around in the 90s. For fuck's sake, you all would have fucking lost your mind. Everybody would have lost their mind. And people in the 2000s, geez, man, to think about what you guys would have tweeted to Trish Stratus for barking on her knees like a dog to Vince McMahon. I could not imagine what the fuck you guys would have done. So please, please, before you fucking think, is this something I should tweet? Think to yourself this. Is this something that my grandmother would approve? Because I guarantee some of you are so disrespectful, you don't give a fuck what your mom thinks, but you care what your grandmother thinks. So you think about that before you fucking start deciding that you're going to put this kind of shit out. Because what your resume says about you on social media is what it says really about you. Okay? There's a guy out there, he runs the college, or he's the college football coach for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, okay? He literally tells people, give me your Twitter handle. Let me see your social media accounts. Because he understands that what you put on social media is a resume of who you are. And if you want to be that much of a trash ass person, that you want to go out there and disrespect someone and tell them you should be dead, and then they die, you should be held accountable for that. So fuck all of you who think that was so cool to tweet out at Hana Kimura and watch what happened to her.
Go ahead, JJ. I don't. Ooh. So, cyberbullying is not fun. it's not a fun thing to do. Cyberbullying, I don't think people realize the repercussions of what they say, and sometimes I think people do take it way too far. And I do think there are there are people that are scum of the scum. Damn, I don't even know where I'm getting with this. This is kind of a rough topic to talk about because someone lost their life, but to people that were making memes about, people dying, they are the scum of the scum. I remember when Kobe passed away, there was this one meme that started coming out. It had GTA 5, and it had the helicopter just going beep 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 beep, and boom, and then yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And it was not like it was like less than like 12 hours after he died, and they just started making memes. Because I think the problem with social media is people, they do anything for clout. Good or bad, people on social media want recognition. They don't care how it's done. They don't care about whose feelings they hurt. They just care about clout. Oh, look, I just got 1,000 retweets or reposts on this. Maybe if I keep doing this, I can get more recognition. And it sucks. And it shouldn't be taken with like a grain of salt, or maybe it shouldn't, like, oh my God, somebody just died. I'm just gonna be a fucking scum and be like, oh, let's see if I get some laughs and, oh, look at this person just died. Like, it's not funny. But I think, like Cliff said, what we need to do is think about our repercussions of our actions, because what social media does is, even like for football, I know like all college coaches, they all look at social media. Even for job interviews, they'll ask for your social media, because what you put out not only represents you, but it also will represent that company or whatever. And they don't want scumbags on their company. So, yeah, I mean, people need to really think about what they say on social media, because at the end of the day, people are human. And I think people need to realize, like, the difference between real and fake. Like Kelly Marie Tran, when she was on Star Wars, like, the bashing because Rose Tico, even though she wasn't a really, like, as a character, wasn't good, you shouldn't bash the actor or actress that basically just did what the script told them to do. And, we should really think about what we say, because people are people. And it should have never gotten to the point where she thought she should have committed suicide. But yeah, we need to really think about what we say. And yeah, I don't know what to say, because Cliff, you hit all the bullets like you just like bam, bam, bam. It's man. Just, why can't we be nice? That's how I'm gonna end it. Why can't we be nice?
All right, so this morning, recording on my Instagram, I posted something, and it was just my real first initial thoughts after, because I think I saw it last night, if I'm not mistaken, and I had time to sleep on it and whatnot, and I wanna read it, so it gets out for those that don't follow me on social media. I posted this and I said, for all you pieces of shit that like to talk big and bad on social media to people, guess what? That's called cyberbullying. Whether you think you're being a bully or not, even if it, like Cliff said, if it's your opinion, it's cyberbullying. And we lost a dope wrestler because of it. And it makes me sick that there is still, people have no idea the effects and what cyberbullying does to people. And like she was only 21, 22. She's legitimately like a year or two younger than me. her career hadn't even really gotten started yet. Who could have known what she could have done in the future as a star? But now we will never get the chance to see that because of assholes who just took it upon themselves to go say whatever the hell they want. And the thing is that I think, and piggyback off of what you said, Josh, was our culture now has gotten so obsessed with getting viral, with going viral. That's the trend now, and that's what social media has gotten. Everyone wants to go viral, whether it be to be funny, to be informative, or whether it is to be just a piece of shit. And it's absolutely sickening at the fact that there are that people can have the heart and have the guts to say this, because I bet you $50 million that half of the people that talk so much trash on social media would not even dare to say it in that person's face.
Nope.
Wouldn't even dare say it. And I think that's the problem. Everyone got a big pair of balls behind the screen. And I've said that for years. I said everybody got big cojones when they're talking back and forth behind the screen. But when you're stepping in front there, you're mute as a mouse. And it's sickening, and it literally makes my skin crawl. I was talking to a friend about it earlier, and I'm just so mad with the world right now, just because of the fact that it came to that. Like, she took her life because of people that she don't even know. She probably didn't know at least 99.9% of the people that was saying all them things to her. But it got to her that much that it cost her her life. And it's just it makes me mad. It makes me just I have no respect. I have no remorse for any person that wants to that does that on social media, whether you think it's cyberbullying or not. It's not okay. It's not okay. And I agree with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss said something earlier today saying that, like you said, Cliff, if people who cyberbully, you need to have repercussions taken, point blank. You need to suffer the consequences. And I think that's my stance, and because this is sad. It's absolutely fucking sad that in 2020 we are still dealing with cyberbullying as an issue with grown adults.
I won't even the biggest part that you said,
it's adults, and I don't want to say I don't want to say that I understand with teenagers as far as that with the thing with cyberbullying. I don't want to say I understand. I guess it's more along the lines of whereas it's that it's okay, and it's not acceptable either way. But I would feel less pissed off, like a small bit, if we're talking about teenagers, but we're talking about grown adults who have the mental capacity to know what is right and what is wrong doing this. And like you said, Cliff, like people over the age of 22 out here talk like, what? How old are you? And I think that's just I think that what really gets me, that these are grown people, adults, doing this cyberbullying, and it's not 16-year-old. I think that's what disappoints me the most. That if I can get my words all right, it disappoints me the most that the fact that it's adults.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. And when you go back and you read like Kairi Sane's tweets, man, where she's just like, I immediately knew something was wrong. Io and I reached out to a bunch of our, they listed their friends at Stardom to reach out, but it wasn't soon enough. It was like midnight her time on the East Coast over here with us when she realized how crazy the tweet was that was going on in Japan. Or was it? No, it was like midnight their time, and it was like 6 p.m. our time when she realized that something wasn't right. Or it was like 6 a.m. our time when she realized something wasn't right. And then she just reached out to her friends and was like, immediately reached out to her friends, was like, hey, you need to go find out what's going on. Immediately. and she was trying to do the best that she could from what position she had. It just upsets me because I cannot harp on this enough, right? If you are over the age of 21, if you are legally able to drink in the United States or in any country, and you decide that it's so important for you to say these 250 characters to this one person, then you really need to look at your life and realize what the fuck is wrong with you. Like, yes, I get it, right? It's 2020. We shouldn't have to be dealing with these issues. Obviously, in the United States, we have bigger issues, right? We can't even get past, let alone cyberbullying. We can't get past any other thing, man. Misogyny, racism, fucking. We can't get past any of that shit. But at some point in time, we have to take accountability for our own actions, and we have to look back and say, man, this would be fucked up. If anybody else read this, this would be fucked up, right? Like, we have the stupid kids in fucking Georgia who thought they were so cool on TikTok when they were like, how to make a black person. And they were like, yeah, we're going to drop N-bombs and say whatever the fuck we want. And they didn't think they were going to get any repercussions. And guess what happened? All the repercussions came. And just know that when your tweets are found, because not if, when, you will be put on blast like everybody else. And you will see the world will turn on you. And then what are you going to do? Because your shield won't be there anymore. We will find you, we will call you out, and you're going to deal with all those things that she had to deal with. Kimura never had to be pushed this far. It's insane. Because I guarantee you, 10 out of 10 people, if you met Hana Kimura and you walked up to her, none of you bitches would have gone, you fucking suck. You would have said, can I get a picture? Can I get an autograph? Let me buy one of your t-shirts. That's what you fuckers would have done. And then you would have gone on Twitter and been like, look, I took pictures with the bitch. No, it's what you guys would have done. But every one of you to her face would have been super nice. Because I guarantee you, 95% of fans out there, had they walked up to someone like Vader or The Big Show or Mark Henry, none of you bitches would have been like, you fucking suck, dude. None of you would have had the balls to say it. And none of you have the balls to tweet it to them. But you'll have the balls to tweet it to a 22-year-old Japanese girl. That's where you really have to look at yourself in life and say, man, I'm some garbage. Because you are. Sorry, that's part 2 of my rant.
It's all warranted. But let's move on, guys. Let's move on. So, into some other news. We gotta talk about the girl Shayna Baszler. Let's talk about my girl Shayna.
Who?
Exactly.
You know that
so,
meme?
I know exactly. I know. So Shayna Baszler had a lot of hype and a lot of clout coming in on the main roster after being called up from NXT. She won the Women's Royal Rumble and earned the right to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. Everyone thought that Becky was going to win. Becky was going to lose. I'm sorry. They thought Becky was going to lose and Shayna would become new Raw Women's Champion. That did not happen. So what do? We fast forward to Money in the Bank. Shayna Baszler is the favorite to win, but that does not happen. Asuka wins and ultimately becoming the Raw Women's Champion because Becky is pregnant and taking a leave of absence to go be a mama. So with that being said, there's rumors going around that Vince McMahon isn't a Shayna Baszler fan. So the topic for this is, has Shayna Baszler fizzled out? Start with you, Cliff.
Has she fizzled out? I mean, I hope not, but I feel like what we're seeing is that it's when you get to NXT, right? You set the bottom of the barrel, right? And you work yourself up, and you work yourself into this main event picture. And then when you get called up, per se, to one of the bigger shows, I feel like that's what ends up happening again. You get pushed all the way to the bottom of the card, and you got to build yourself up. They start you to see if they can get the hype that you carried over from NXT to Raw. But then if you don't, then they just push you down at the bottom of the card, and then they make you build yourself back up. And I think that's what we're seeing with Shayna. Has she fizzled out? I think she's fizzled out in the sense that obviously Vince wasn't a fan, right? Like we said. and that he was just like, well, fuck it, we'll just make her build herself back up again. And it's fucked up because Elimination Chamber, man, she dominated that shit, and it was amazing. And to be honest, she should have won Money in the Bank. Like, I get Asuka, but now that Asuka's the face, there's no one really there for her to battle against, right? Shayna is there, obviously, and she's a heel. But if you knew, because they did, if you knew that Becky wasn't gonna be able to defend her title anymore, then you should have had Shayna win because she was the hotter heel at the time. Sure, Nia came back and Nia was like destroying people left and right, but ultimately, I mean, destroying people, like literally destroying people, like wrecking their face off the turnbuckles and shit. You could have had Shayna win and it had Shayna go on this crazy run and then have Asuka ultimately be the one that knocks her off because Becky's not coming back. Instead, what we got was Asuka's wins, and now there's not a real credible heel out there to knock her off because we kind of shit on Shayna a little bit. So I don't think she's really fizzled out. I think she'll build back up and she'll become this hot heel again as she was in NXT. But it's I don't know, man. I just think I don't want to say it's fizzled out yet, but if we do like Backlash and she doesn't really get on the card on Backlash, then obviously we know at that point that yeah, Vince isn't a fan, and we're probably gonna have to wait another year and a half before we see her rise to the top like Asuka did.
Alrighty. Keep this short and sweet. Yeah, Shayna has fizzled out. She's been dissolved. Thanos snapped her. No, Vince snapped her, dissolved. She said she didn't want to go, and she disappeared. At Elimination Chamber, when she dominated, like Cliff said, I just thought that it was just no way that Becky was going to win. And then Becky wins by the ultimate finisher. The roll-up. Wasn't the roll-up?
It is a roll-up. Yeah.
Yes.
It is the ultimate finish.
I'm starting.
It's such the ultimate finish, especially if it's a 24/7 title match.
Or Elias. Elias, that's his finisher too.
Bruh, Elias does win with a lot of roll-ups. Go ahead.
Sorry. I went off topic. Made you think there a little bit.
You did.
But I feel like the moment she lost a roll-up to Becky was when she just started losing. She just lost every momentum, all the momentum. And it was just like, okay, well, you just dominated the entire Elimination Chamber, and you go down by a roll-up? It was like, okay, well, that's when I fell off the hype train a little bit. And then she didn't win Money in the Bank like everybody thought she was, which I can actually understand why now, considering the promo that happened with her and Asuka. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand why now, like hindsight about now. But yeah, she's dissolved. She's fizzled out. Push Liv Morgan. Yeah. No.
Anyway, so I'm just gonna take over. Do I think Shayna Baszler's fizzled out? I don't think she necessarily fizzled out. Do I think her light has been like her heat, that the little fire she had going has diminished a little bit. Because technically speaking, she has now had 2 opportunities at the Raw Women's Championship, being that she had her opportunity at WrestleMania and technically at Money in the Bank, because the Money in the Bank match was technically for the Raw Women's Championship. So she's technically had 2 opportunities and she's failed. She's failed. Like, failed.
Yeah,
so with that being said, there is there's something that we gotta figure out, that what are they gonna do with Shayna? Because right now, like Cliff said, there is no credible heel for Asuka to go up against except for Nia Jax, and I do believe they're gonna give Nia a crack at Asuka before they give Shayna a crack at Asuka.
Nia might kill Asuka. And
to be honest, it wouldn't shock me if they go with Nia becoming Raw Women's Champion. It wouldn't shock me because, I mean, hey, that'll give her some heat. She already is a heat magnet because people think she's unsafe, and we can talk about that another time. But I don't think she's completely fizzled out. And Cliff, you make a very good point, and I have to agree with you. The way that the main roster does the call-ups now is that you get all this hype, from NXT, and they pretty much they throw you to the wolves. They see what happens because you got to remember the audience between Raw and SmackDown is a different audience than NXT. Still, it's not the same audience. So they have to that main roster audience, even though they're all main roster technically speaking, that SmackDown Raw audience has got to get used to you, and you have to get over with them before you get before anything else. And I do believe they threw Shayna to the wolves. They did. Like you said, she was in the Royal Rumble. She lost. She was in the Elimination Chamber match, and she dominated. Something that we've never seen in any Elimination Chamber match, men or women. She went to WrestleMania, dropped the ball. Money in the Bank, dropped the ball. So now it's, what are we going to do? Because they got to fill something. Something's got to be that take the place of Becky and that star power. Is it Asuka? I don't know. But with that, either way, Shayna Baszler, I don't think she fills it out. I just think that, her flame has just been, diminished a little bit.
It's funny too, man, because it's like you've kind of crushed. Like you said, you've dimmed her light a lot, right? And then on the other side, like, you can't build anybody credible up, right? Because as soon as somebody starts to build up a little bit of credibility, right, they lose. So you had the chance to build up Ruby Riott, right? Instead of like giving her matches to keep building yourself up, we just fed her to Charlotte. I don't know where Bianca Belair is because she got called up to the main roster. She's not around. And even at that, she beat Zelina Vega, but prior to being Vega, she lost to Charlotte right before being called up. Then you have this opportunity to build the women's division to be like a stacked roster. And like a couple years ago, we talked about it, like the women's roster is what carried SmackDown and Raw. Like I would have put the women in every main event spot because they were just doing so great. But then fast forward a couple of years, now we're looking back and we're like, where is the women's roster at? Even though we know the women's roster is not deep, but it's got a lot of quality to it. You can't build up anybody quality in that division at all, right? Liv Morgan comes back. We don't even take her seriously. Carmella, we don't take her seriously. She's a former women's champion. We don't take her seriously. Becky was one that we took seriously. Obviously, she's leaving. Nia, we know that she's a good wrestler. She's a okay wrestler, but she's like the main heat person. Kairi Sane, she was a credible champion on NXT. Shayna Baszler, Asuka, and now Asuka is like one of two women to be a Grand Slam champion. Bayley, but who do we talk about? Charlotte. Charlotte's on all the shows. She crushes everybody. Sure, she lost to Bayley on SmackDown, but by heel tactics. But nonetheless, like we don't take the women's like division seriously enough to build up stars. Like where is next Becky Lynch? It should have been. It's somewhere in that card in that women's division. It's somewhere in there. Now I would like to believe that it is Bianca Belair because even when she was starting to build up, like when I first saw her, I was like, I don't really know about her so much. But the more I watched her, the more she grew on me. And I'm a little bit more from a casual, not quite like a hardcore fan, but not quite like the casual fan, like somewhere in the middle. So if she's getting over with me, that means she's getting over with most of the casual audience members. And it's like, so she's somewhere on there. You can start building her back up and getting her going. Shayna Baszler should have been someone that you could like legitimately, if you need someone to build up heat, she's the person that's perfect for that. She cuts good promos. Like she's a great talker. I don't know why you're not utilizing that. She can cut the promos. And then like when we look at who else is there? Dana Brooke, who was like a consistent workhorse. She's not being utilized. And even when she does start to get like a little bit over, you make her into a comedy act because she grabbed a wrong briefcase in a Money in the Bank office room. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
I still believe she is the MVP of that match, though. whether it was, it was comedy, but I do think she's the MVP because she made that shit entertaining.
Yeah, it was funny.
So I got to give my rose to fucking Dana Brooke for that. But I get what you're saying. There's so many people on that women's roster, on both ends, Raw and SmackDown, that can be used, and it's I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. You're right, and then Sasha is a good one. That's a good one to use. And I think Sasha is probably lined up to be the next SmackDown Women's Champion. Down the line when they do pull the trigger on the Sasha and Bayley feud, but it's really interesting. It's really interesting because we don't know what they're about to do. Because,
but I mean, like,
yeah, it's like a void. Because when Becky left, right? Because Becky's been on the tear for a year and a half. A year and a half.
A year and some change. Yeah.
A year
A year and a half. Because
SummerSlam was when she turned heel. And she started the thing.
When everybody started liking her again.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Because when she turned heel, everybody freaking cheered.
Yeah, exactly. Because Charlotte deserved that. But so she's had that, she's carried this women's division, and I'll give credit to Ronda as well. They've carried it. Ronda's gone. She's been gone for a year now. Now Becky's gone. The top three people, your top three stars, who were the main event of WrestleMania a couple of years, how many are still left? One, and that's Charlotte. And what is Charlotte? Charlotte's on NXT.
Charlotte's on everyone. She's on every show, actually.
Well, yeah, because that stupid brand invitational bullcrap. But straight on the line, Charlotte is on NXT. And NXT don't need anybody as far as women. Because NXT does great with their women and their men. They know Triple H knows what the fuck he's doing.
Thank you, Paul.
I was going to say, I think that's kind of like I don't want to say it's a direct... It's like a direct... Like, the reason why NXT isn't doing so well in the ratings war is because of Charlotte. That's not true, right? Like, she's trying to bring some credibility. Like, they're trying to bring credibility to NXT, which that's not necessary because Rhea Ripley had already beaten Charlotte, and she beat Sasha, and she beat fucking Bayley. Like, she's already won. Like, she's already done those things, and she beat the man. Like, she is the next person that you're supposed to be like, hey, this is our champion. Bianca Belair could be a credible threat. Io Shirai could be a credible threat. As much as you don't like her, Candice LeRae could be a credible threat. Dakota Kai is coming along. Tegan Knox is coming along. Like, you can name the women that are coming along for NXT, and you're just like, yeah, these are women. So why is Charlotte there? You don't need her there. You need a new heat magnet. So if Asuka's gonna be that person that's gonna be like the big baby face, Charlotte should drop this title to in NXT in your house to whoever. I don't care. I would rather see it on Io than I would rather see it on Rhea. But after that, she goes back to Raw, and then she tries to help build up the women's brand. And, like, you have to have Charlotte lose to somebody on that brand to make everybody else just start building up the credibility back up. Charlotte can eat a couple pins, and it'll be okay. Just because you saw the Kevin Owens effect a few years ago with John Cena does not mean it's going to happen with everybody else, okay? And for some of you people out there who don't know what I'm talking about, okay, the night that Kevin Owens made his debut with the NXT title to challenge John Cena while he had the U.S. Championship, okay, he beat John Cena on his first pay-per-view. That night, John Cena's sales for his t-shirts dropped by 20%, and Kevin Owens went up by almost 40%, okay? So his sales numbers increased. That's building a fucking star right there. And instead of letting Kevin Owens get over in that fucking feud, what did we do? We let him lose to John Cena twice. Why? Because we didn't want to tarnish John Cena's image. He doesn't even give a fuck. John Cena doesn't care. He legitimately tells people, hey, let's build up some new stars. Hey, I can't do this forever. Hey, I will do whatever the company asks me to do. We know how dominant he was for years. Kevin Owens was that person. He was that guy, and he's still that guy. So I'm trying to figure out if Charlotte loses to anybody, whether that's Bianca Belair or Io Shirai or whoever, I don't care. It will put that person over. They will become a star, and you can start building the roster around them. And then if or when Ronda or Becky come back, guess what? Now you just have additional pieces. You're gonna end up having that Stone Cold and Rock situation again, where we have these two titans that are battling, and these great support characters underneath, like Shawn and Triple H and Diesel and fucking Undertaker, that are help building up that roster too. But you have to start somewhere, and having Charlotte run through the women's division is not the way.
I agree.
Our
Ali?
queen, Charlotte Flair, is the greatest. She will
I-
bury everyone.
Anyway, I'll say this and then we'll move on. This triple threat match, just my opinion, you take Io out and you put Bianca in. That should have been the triple threat match we should have saw at WrestleMania, but I digress. All right, we're gonna move on to our last topic. So, Impact. We don't give Impact a lot of love here.
TNA,
No, I said Impact.
Global Force Wrestling.
I said Impact.
Oh, that's what they're going with this time.
Anyway, so Impact Wrestling, if you don't know, is on Access TV after Anthem Sports bought them, gave them the home now. So Impact's been on Access for a while now. They're doing their thing. Now, news just broke out, and it was announced that Access is adding a third hour of Impact Wrestling programming on Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock p.m. And the show's going to be called Impact in 60. And it's going to debut on June 2nd, which is next week. And it's going to be a themed show. So they'll have a different theme each week that highlights some of Impact's history. So which gives them, content to put out. Because let's remember, Impact had all the stars that we know mostly in WWE now, like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, also in AEW, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, even R-Truth, my guy, was in Impact. So they're going to use this show to pretty much build up, not pretty much build, but show their old footage. The debate topic is this. Is this a good move for Impact to have another show and just have it themed based off of their old content? JJ, you start this one off.
Damn, put me on the spot. Alrighty. So at first, I was gonna be like, the dreaded 3 hours. You done made a mistake. You do not make wrestling shows Avengers Endgame time frame. You just don't do it. It's a struggle. It's that last hour you always lose the attention span. Well, at least mine. But I don't necessarily know per se if this is gonna be a good idea. You might have to just run with it and see how it goes. I mean, it's different, so I'll give them that. And since it's different, I'll be like, yeah, just go for it, see if it works. But I don't know if it's gonna work just because of that dreaded 3 hours. The attention span is not gonna be there. My attention span is not going to be there. And I'm a commoner, so I can speak for the common folk. Our attention span is not going to be there. Unless it's something cool like Avengers Endgame.
I mean, I'm glad that Sinclair Broadcasting is trying to get back their wrestling show. But to say, hey, look at all the stars we had in the past is not a good move at all. If we look at Fox's show, right? Was it I can't remember what WWE show is on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, Backstage.
Yeah. That show is not pulling any viewers in. What, at most 60,000? I think at the highest it was 125,000 when CM Punk made his debut on the show. Come on, man. That's nothing. That's great, okay, but I've seen YouTube channels turn out more people than those kind of wrestling programs. I'm talking dumb shows I don't know, there's Trom Trom or Troom Troom. Sure, we'll call it that one. I think my problem though is that it's to go back and say, look at the characters that we had in the past and the great matches we had in the past. You're not doing anything to sway that needle. right? Like I'll give credit to like AEW because they have AEW Dark, right? Now, granted, a lot of their newer talent on AEW Dark get crushed by like the main players of like
The
AEW
elite.
Dynamite. Well, really, because I didn't know that Havoc was in the Elite. But sure, we'll go with the Elite. Um, but it's like if you want to build these younger stars, right? These other people to be future stars, we have to build those guys up, right? And so AEW Dark allows that to happen with some of their main roster guys to come in with the new talent or newer guys and just kind of like beat them up, but kind of like showcase them at the same time. So I think like that's the way to do it. So for Impact, if Impact wants you to invest in Impact and their future talent, then make a show about the future and not a show about the past. So to me, I mean, it's cool. N60 can talk about like, hey, look at the stuff that we did, but I want to know about the stuff that you're going to do.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think, and I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one because I think what this is I think this is a strategy for them to get their Impact Plus subscribers up, because you got to remember, and like we said, Impact has had great stars in that past, and if this show is just basically highlighting that, I think what their ultimate goal is to get more people to subscribe to their streaming service, which you can get all the past things as well as some of the recent stuff. So I agree with you, Cliff, on the fact that if you want to make a good move, you focus on the talent that you have now. And Impact does have a lot of good talent. Chris Bay, fucking Willie Mack, like Tessa Blanchard. There is talent on that roster. So
Moose.
I just believe that for the fan that liked the old Impact, or the good things, let me say the good things that the old Impact / TNA did, this is the show for you. And if you hadn't already subscribed to their streaming service, this will give you more incentive to go do that. And I have, the schedule pretty much for the next for at least the month of June. So in week 1, the theme of the first episode is going to be the TNA Asylum year, showing matches from their early Nashville pay-per-view shows. Then the June 9th show will be about the early years of the X Division, and we all know the X Division and how much TNA, put the X Division on the map. And June 16th, my birthday, will be greatest world title matches ever. So we'll see the greatest, world title matches. And then the 23rd, which will be, I think, was my favorite TNA gimmicks, is they're going to talk about the Aces and Eights gimmick, heel stable. And they will also air Mick Foley matches against Sting and Samoa Joe. So if you like some of that old stuff and you want to go relive it, and if you don't have the streaming service, go watch Impact in 60. Because I do believe they're going to push their I was about to call it ESPN Plus, Impact Plus streaming service on that show. They're going to plug it because that's why isn't that why pretty much people have the network? Anyway, the WWE network, besides for the the pay-per-views, you get to watch the old shit. And I think Impact is trying to do that same move and get more people on their streaming platform. So in a sense, I think it's a good move for that reasoning alone.
Do you think they're gonna stop in between before commercial breaks? They're gonna be like, hey, remember, you can catch all this great content too on a subscription service and drive that point home like WWE did?
I think so. I do.
You can now get it on WWE Network for $9.99. Did you say $9.99? I said $9.99.
I don't think they'll be that campy though. Don't think they'll be that campy about it, but I do believe they will plug in that Impact Plus. I do believe that.
Subscribe.
I mean, if you get a couple, I don't know I don't know what their subscription based number is, to maintain a profit, because I know Sinclair Broadcasting just feeds them money to help build that brand up. Because I think, and that's the one thing I will give, even though I don't really like Sinclair Broadcasting, I will give them credit they will, like, if they see something that's going to be successful, they're going to push towards it, right? Because they understand, like, WWE and AEW, if you're drawing in like close to a million a week of just people watching the show, they're gonna want to invest in that too, because they think they have the same kind of product, which they do. They have the roster to do it. It's just they got to kind of be put on a bigger platform. And Access TV, I don't really know if that's that channel. I think if you put it on CBS on a Tuesday night, like, you might see something else off of that. Like, a lot of people will be checking it out. Because
that would be something if CBS on prime time on a Tuesday was showing wrestling. That's your CBS. That's your air channel, man. You get that on an antenna. Oh, shit.
Well, remember, because
that'd be a day. That'd be the day.
Well, they did have MMA on there. They had Elite XC, and they did really well with Elite XC. It was just that they built a whole roster, like, with the idea that Kimbo Slice was going to carry that brand up to the point where Kimbo Slice got beat, and then they're like, oh, well, now we can't really build Elite XC around Kimbo, right? So they tried to do it with Nick Diaz, in which we saw Jake Shields and Mayhem Miller against a huge fight. And then CBS was like, nope, this is too bloody. We can't have this on our show. But now, with the way wrestling is designed and the way that people are handled, yeah, I mean, if you want to compete, Access TV is not the way to do it. And if you want to drive Impact sales, why not put a show like let's be real. Let's see if you did a Saturday night where AEW and WWE aren't running a show, and you said, hey, check out Impact on CBS at 8 o'clock at night. Suddenly, everybody's going to be like, huh? let me go check this out. And you're going to see a huge spike in subscribers. Even if you put on CBS's, I know CBS has like their own streaming platform. If you put on CBS's platform, people are going to go check it out. I really think that if Sinclair was really going to be serious about it, that's what they would do. And they would be like, hey, we got a good product. We'll put behind it. And then if they can get to 700,000. Well, actually, you know what? To be honest, TNT projected AEW was going to draw around 250,000 viewers a week for every single show, and that was the expectation. And when they got close to a million, almost they're right around like 850,000 people like a week. Like, things changed. They're like, holy shit! Like, we have a great product, but they still kept the numbers low. So I think if you were with Impact, if you in CBS, you would say 150,000, 250,000 would probably be a good ball number, especially if you put on CBS. You're probably going to get that return and then some. And then you could sell more advertisement rights at a higher price and get more revenue for the product. So I think CBS should really get behind it. And I think a Tuesday night show for wrestling in that kind of world would be amazing.
I don't disagree with that. That'd be interesting. But
CBS kids.
I just don't think N60. I just don't think N60 is the way to go. Like, I understand like the themes behind it, and I do want to see the Aces and 8-1 personally as well. But I just think that you got to invest in the future, and CBS, knowing what the product that they have, they could turn that over so quick. And I don't know what they're doing. So put some elbow grease in there, because you don't have the Big Bang Theory anymore. Now that show's done. Slip that shit right in there and just be like, yo, we're on CBS now.
Yeah. I mean, they tried with Supergirl and that failed. And that went
they gave up. They gave up.
I will agree with you on that. They did give up on Supergirl. And but alrighty, so let's get to some If I Had the Pencil. So this is a match that was added to the Double or Nothing card, which is tonight, which is Saturday, because that is what we are recording. So we have a match that we have to get our predictions for. Idol's not here, so what I will do is I'll get his prediction and write it in, and we will see what happened. So, match that was added on Dynamite. Shawn Spears versus Dustin Rhodes. That match is happening as well. Shawn Spears called Dustin Rhodes out, and we're going to get a match tonight. So, with that being said, if I had the pencil, let's go. Cliff, who you got? Shawn Spears, Dustin Rhodes.
I'm going to take Shawn Spears.
You got Shawn Spears. JJ, who you got? Shawn Spears, Dustin Rhodes.
Mr. Royce.
Mr. Royce. Wow.
Oh, man. His name is Sean Spears.
I call Peyton Royce Miss Spears.
I know you do, but
It's hilarious.
you're disrespectful. That is what you are.
It's just a joke.
I don't care. But anyway, I gotta go with Dustin. Dustin lost to Lance, and I think Dustin's a player. I sound like JR. Jeez. He's a player in AEW, and I think what's gonna happen is I think Dustin will get a win after losing to Lance, because I do believe that Lance is going to win the TNT title tonight. So I'm going with Dustin, and I'll get what Idol says when I talk to him. All right, guys. So it is now time for the greatest segment in all of 3 Count podcast shows. It's time for the Red Dogs Power Rankings.
And like always, we just want to give our big shout outs to Hollow Drive 4 Danger Zone. That cover is amazing. We keep saying it every week. I can't stop that song. So let's get into our power rankings. Now, I will have to caveat this, right? Because I did not watch NXT or Dynamite until Friday morning. So we are recording this Saturday afternoon. So I have a different perspective on everything. And then SmackDown happened. And yeah, we'll talk about that. So let's start us off with So I start my power rankings on the 20. It'll be the 25th. So this technically will end on the 24th. So Sunday will be when I do the whole new week. So except this week, because tonight is Double or Nothing. So May 23rd will be the start of the new cycle. So let's get into number 10 with Mr. MJ. That was a good match. That was a fair way to start this off. Number 9, Matt Hardy. And also, side note, I know I don't talk about losers, but Sammy Guevara, you're a psycho for how you sell the Twist of Fate. I just gotta put that out there. Number 8, speaking of people who cheat to win, Bayley. Her match with Charlotte was really good. So
I'm calling her Karen. Her name is Bayley.
Number 7, we'll give it to the master of the 3-2-1 and then hit somebody with the boomstick, Drew McIntyre.
I definitely did not know where you were going with that. I was like, master of the 619. I'm like, he's not on there.
Who's that jumping up sky?
Oh, Kazama. Number 6, Jon Moxley. To be fair though, I could have moved this up higher, but I felt like the match was kind of slow for me, so I was like, all right, but it was still a good match. Number 5, I will have to say I did enjoy this match. I will continue to enjoy this match if I go back and watch it. Roderick Strong looked amazing in his match, which, by the way, I did like the fact that they're doing a celebration on this week's NXT for Adam Cole for being the champion for 1 year, and he just had to brag about it on the camera. I thought that was fun. Number 4, El Hilo del Fantasma, because that match was amazing. Number 3, so this was a match, and I know you guys are gonna laugh at me because of the discussion that we had a few weeks ago about this. Drake Maverick makes this list because I was. Oh yeah. Hold on. I don't want to trademark anything, but Drake Maverick. Sorry, Ollie. Number 2. We have to give it up to the guy who got replaced in the ladder match coming up for Double or Nothing. Rey Fenix had an amazing match and then died on that final spot that he did after the match happened. So number 1, and I think this is the first time ever that somebody on SmackDown has made the list, the top list. So I have to give it up to AJ Styles.
That's my boy.
Damn it.
Yeah, that match.
It's about goddamn time you put AJ Styles on number 1 on this list. God dang it.
Well, that match with Nakamura was phenomenal.
It was.
It was a good match. But yeah, I saw, and the fact that they said they traded for him for players later to be named, I was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, Mandy and Tucker are getting traded to Raw. Like, this is gonna happen.
So what's it gonna do with Otis and Mandy then?
Oh no, they're just gonna dead that storyline.
Okay.
No, they can't do that.
I don't think they're gonna do that. They didn't put too much. They didn't put too much into that. They're already Trish Stratus in her up. Yeah, nah, man.
She looked really good in that denim shirt and denim shorts that she had. I was like,
bro, I think I mentioned
Otis is too much of a blue collar guy to be like rubbing off like that on Mandy. I was like, oh my god.
I'm telling you, she looked like Trish Stratus that on that with it. She looked just like Trish, the makeup and the hair, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're totally Trish Stratusing her up, which I don't have a problem with, by the way, by any hint of the imagination. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I was just like, oh, it's definitely apparent now, and I've been saying that since Mandy showed up.
Right.
With with the whole God Greatest Creation gimmick and the slow motion and all that and the porn music. Yeah. Like I said that from jump that they were making her the next Trish Stratus with the sex appeal and everything. But I don't have a problem with the power rankings.
I do.
Oh. Okay.
What's up, Starter Mustache? What's your problem?
My problem was with number 8. It should be Karen.
Oh my
god.
I'm taking Mike back. All right, folks. That's the power rankings. Like I said, I don't have a problem with them. And so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very, very this has been an interesting episode of the 3 Count. We started off with some real shit. Then we got into some bullshit. So I think this was a success episode. Pray for the family of Shad Gaspard. Pray for the family of Hannah Kimura. Yeah, I couldn't get her name out. Pray for the family. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not listened to 3 Count Podcast presents Now Into the Ring, Van Williams, the Postman, go listen to that. Also, check out our Pro Wrestling Tees shop. All right, prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 count pod pod all one word, no caps, no space. prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 count pod. Please support the 3 Count and like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a 5-star rating, give us a review, share to your friends, share to your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, Grandpa Joe, Aunt Charlene, all that. Let them know about your favorite wrestling podcast, The 3 Count.
Hey, last thing though, before we actually get off the air, it is Memorial Day weekend, so please, think about while you're going out and you're grilling and you're enjoying your 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend, doesn't really matter. If you're enjoying those, remember those who sacrificed their lives for our country, right? We all, regardless of where we are, we all believe in what we believe, and our country. This is even though we're having some hard times right now, right? All the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guard, even the new Space Force, whatever. We want to thank all of our people who have fought for this country and have died. And we just want to show our appreciation, and we love you guys.
You lost me at the Space Force. I
want to join the Space Force.
I was like, oh yeah, it does, Memorial Day. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Cliff. And then he said Space Force, and I lost my shit. But yes, we here at 3 Count Podcast. Definitely thank everyone for their service for our country. So on that note, my name is Chaz Evans. I'm here with the Red Dog. I'm also here with JJ and for Chris Idol, the ghost of Chris Idol. This has been another episode of The 3 Count. We'll catch you next time.